what do you think might happen in the next hour, the next day, week, month, year, or further beyond? Did you know, for example, that in the next billion years, the sun will continue to get brighter and larger until all life on our planet as we know it will be unviable? Or that even the Milky Way galaxy will eventually cease to exist? Over the next 10 minutes, we're going to take you on a forward look through time to discover some of the most consequential and exciting events that are likely to occur over the next trillion years, and you're guaranteed to be surprised by what is going to happen to our planet Earth. Before we continue, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Deep Thought. Let us know in the comments below which event you are looking forward to the most. To put into perspective the vast amount of time we're going to be looking at it, the universe is currently believed to be about 13.8 billion years old, and the Earth formed around 4.5 billion years ago. In a trillion years, the universe will be another 100 times older than it currently is. If you think of how much has occurred since the beginning of time, you can just imagine how much is still going to happen. It's not pure guesswork though, because based on probabilities, understanding the trends and directions of change, and educated reasoning, it's been possible for researchers to determine some of the larger events that are most likely to occur in the future. Let's begin with the relative near future on Earth. If, as many scientists predict, average temperatures keep increasing, it is expected that the ice sheets of Antarctica will melt. This would cause a 13-foot rise in sea levels and endanger all coastal regions around the world, such as New York, Mumbai, and Osaka. 50,000 years ago, the world was in the midst of the last ice age, and it's believed by many researchers that in 50,000 years' time, the same will be true, no matter how much of an effect of global warming that we cause in the interim. Before the water freezes, it'll have had enough time to change a number of geographical features from how they are today. For example, Niagara Falls will no longer exist, because by then, they will have eroded back into Lake Erie. Going even further forward, to around 100,000 years in the future, any humans on Earth will look up to the skies and see something very different from what we do today. The stars will have drifted to such an extent that none of the constellations will appear in the same way. But, of course, the people looking at them will be vastly different too. The first fossils of our ancestors all date back to around 100,000 years ago. And since then, we've evolved to have straighter spines and more capable brains. Just imagine what the humans so far in the future will be like. The sky will change even further in about 1 million years, when it's expected one of our nearest neighboring stars, Betelgeuse, will explode into a supernova. It's so close to us that it'll be visible in the sky during the daytime for several months. Many scientists believe that our planet is in the middle of its 6th mass extinction, one that's called the Holocene extinction, and is being caused by human activity. If their fears prove to be correct, then it's believed that in 10 million years' time, the Earth will have finally fully recovered from the 6th mass extinction and be full of new species. In 50 million years' time, some estimates suggest that the continual activity of the San Andreas Fault in California will mean that Los Angeles and San Francisco will collide. Furthermore, Africa will have collided with Europe and formed a new mountain range, and the Canadian Rockies will have almost entirely eroded away. The Jurassic Era was when the majority of dinosaurs that we know roamed the Earth, and that began around 180 million years ago. If we look forward to that amount of time again, any creatures living on Earth will see our time period just as mysterious, with only fossil evidence remaining. The planet itself will have slowed its rotation, and at this time, a day will be a full hour longer than it is today. Just as the moon orbits the Earth and the Earth orbits the sun also orbits the Milky Way galaxy. It takes such a huge amount of time to complete one rotation that the next time it'll be in the same position as it is today will be in 240 million years' time. Hundreds of millions of years ago, all of the land masses on Earth were part of one huge supercontinent known as Pangaea. They have, of course, since separated to become what we see today, but they continue to move apart from and towards each other. It's thought that they will eventually re-merge to form a supercontinent again, one that's already been named Pangaea Ultima, and is expected to be created within 300 million years. In a billion years' time, the Sun will be beginning to heat up so much that its luminosity will have increased by 10%, and the average surface temperatures on Earth will be around 116 degrees Fahrenheit, or 47 degrees Celsius. About half of the water on the surface today will still be there. The movement of the tectonic plates is expected to have ended by then, and the world will begin to be inhospitable to any life, which will start to die off over the next few million years. In 1.5 billion years, the Sun still continues to heat up, which increases the habitable zone in our solar system. While the temperature on Earth will be beyond comfortable levels, Mars will begin to heat up too, and may even start forming the right conditions needed for life to develop. A further billion years into the future, the Sun will have now reached its peak temperature. This will equate to surface temperatures on Earth of around 296 degrees Fahrenheit, or roughly 150 degrees Celsius, even in the coldest parts. This means there will no longer be liquid water, and life as we know it will be unable to exist. In 4 billion years from now, one of the largest galactic events in our cosmic neighborhood will be well underway. The Milky Way galaxy and the neighboring Andromeda galaxy are on a collision course, and by this time in the future, they'll have begun to merge to create a supergalaxy that's currently referred to as Milkomeda. If the Sun has survived the merging of the galaxies, it's believed that its hydrogen fuel source will deplete in around 5.4 billion years and begin its transformation into a red giant. Over the next 2 billion years, it will expand to have a radius 250 times the size it does now, and will destroy all of the inner planets of the solar system, including the 12 billion-year-old Earth. Ever since its creation, the universe has been expanding, and it will continue to do so. Eventually, there will be so much space in between galaxies that it'll be impossible to detect any beyond our own. And it's thought that this stage will be reached in about 100 billion years from now. Despite having formed billions of stars over its lifetime, the Milkomeda galaxy will still have enough material to generate new ones for several hundred billion years. Eventually, however, this process will end in around 800 billion years, and the remaining stars will be left to progress through their life stages, which will cause the galaxy to shift color and become dimmer. Finally, a trillion years into the future, there are two potential outcomes of what might happen. If the theories are true that, just as the universe began in a bang, it will end in a crunch, then this crunch is expected to happen in around 1 trillion years. If this theory is incorrect, however, it's likely that the universe will have expanded so much that no new stars are able to form anywhere, and it'll instead just extinguish bit by bit until there's nothing left but the empty darkness of space. What do you think about the future? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to Deep Thought. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.